What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel, and today I'm going to do my overview of the Peña Apache Kickstop flipper. Very cool knife, sent in by my buddy Craig for me to check out, which I greatly appreciate. And this is a very cool knife. I do have a disassembly video for this knife. I'll link that right up there somewhere if you guys want to check that out, because I was curious about how the flipper vanishes. Most flipper knives, when you go to flip them, where's a flipper at? I don't even have a flipper out here. When you go to flip a flipper knife, you got a flipper sticking out, so it gets in your way for cutting, right? Especially in type of chopping task or anything like that, flipper gets in the way. I'm not a huge fan of flipper knives. I don't own many flippers. It's just not my thing. That's why I like front flippers. Another reason I like front flippers so much is because you don't have that flipper tab sticking out after you deploy the blade. But with this one, the flipper is a separate piece from the blade on its own little pin in there, and it basically, when the blade opens, the flipper stays right there in line with the rest of the blade and has some jimping on it, and it's a very cool design. I don't know if Peña's made any more with the Kickstop. I hope they do. I think they quit making this. I've looked around everywhere. I found that it's sold out, and these were not cheap. These were $300 each, so they're expensive knives. But most Peñas are pretty expensive. They're made extremely well. Yeah, I like Peña. More of a kind of like the who is it? Finch knives, the modern traditionals. That's what it reminds me of. It's a traditional looking knife with a modern materials and a more modern look to it. I think this thing looks really good. And I think Craig put mineral oil on the micarta too, because it's darkened up quite a bit. Maybe not. That may just be from natural carrying it and oil from his hands, but if I remember correctly, I think he put mineral oil, because if you look this knife up online, it's a lot lighter micarta, but I think it looks much better with it dark like this. Personally, I would have put mineral oil on it for sure. Very cool knife. Let me give you the specs on it real quick. It's not a big knife, it's a small knife. Overall length is 6.5 inches, blade length 2.8 inches. It's a satin finish on the blade. It's a M390 blade. Close length is only 3.7 inches, so it's a good little fifth pocket knife. Micarta handle, weight is 2.45 ounces. My scale came in at 2.4 ounces, so we're going to call that accurate. And it is a frame lock with extremely good action for a flipper. Anyway, for a flipper. Yeah, makes me want to check out some of Peña's front flippers. He makes the Apache in a front flipper also. And it looks like it'll be very good, because it looks like it'll be a good top flipper or front flipper. And I may check one of those out down the road. May add that to my wish list, actually. There's actually a new one out right now on Blade HQ that just came out, I believe it was. And I can't remember the price on it. I'll tell you in a second. It's right there on their homepage. No, it's a Peña swayback. Never mind. That one's $289. So it looks like the Peña's run right in that 300 range. Peña makes some crazy expensive custom knives, and obviously this is not a custom, this is a production. And I am not sure who OEMs this knife. I really have no idea. It's one thing they don't really tell you when you look it up on the websites. That's the Kickstop logo there, as you can see. I don't know if it'll focus in enough to read that. It says Kickstop right across there. Peña X Series. Good looking knife. Really good looking knife. Oh, I got a new light and didn't turn it on. Let's turn the new light on. May white out the camera for a minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah, channel's getting better. We've got better lighting now. Maybe too much. Let's turn that down a little bit, see if it looks any better. Yeah, I think that's better. What do you guys think? Like the light? Yeah, hopefully stop getting so many shadows and stuff. So yeah, let me give you some size comparisons real quick. We'll do the regulars first, the Benchmade bug out. And I got a buddy that's sending me some scales for this, some titanium scales. Can't wait to get those and try them out. A Spyderco Para 3, so you can tell it's a small knife. Most Peñas seem like they're pretty small, like those smaller knives. Go ahead and do the QSP Ping Wong and the Vist variant. Smaller than both of those. I think I got two here. That'll be a decent size. One's a really good size comparison. The other one's lengthwise probably a little smaller actually. The Kaiser Urban Bowie and the Kaiser Feist. Feist is probably about the closest thing in size I've got. They're almost identical in size actually. Different blade shapes and everything, but as far as length goes and thickness goes, Peña's a little bit thicker than a Feist, but not by much. Actually, about a scales difference. So, yeah, the Feist is a very good size comparison. Action on this thing is really good. And when you watch the disassembly video, the thing has tiny little bearings on it. Of course, it has a tiny little pivot, so you gotta have tiny little bearings. Very, very forward-thinking design. I'm sure that at some point in the future we're going to see this Kickstop on other brands. I'm sure Peña will probably sell that patent or license it to other makers because it's such a good idea. You know, it makes me actually like a flipper because I don't like flippers. I really don't. I'm not a fan. But this one makes me like it. The ergos on it for a small knife, they're fantastic. They're really good. Super good. It's contoured on the scales quite a bit, and on the bolsters here. The fit and finish, I swear, if I didn't know better, I'd say Riat OEM this, but I don't know that because of how good these transitions are. You can't even feel where the micarta stops and the titanium begins. There is no, you can't feel it anywhere. If I had to guess, I would say Riat OEM this knife, but I don't know that. Comment below if you know who the OEM is. Yeah, I would have to guess Riat. Look at some real quick. Something I can't remember from the disassembly. It's been a while since I disassembled this knife. Huh. There's no lock bar insert on here. That's surprising to me. Could have sworn it had a lock bar insert, but I don't see a lock bar insert, so that could become problematic and cause some lock stick with the titanium on the steel. Yeah. It's been so long since I disassembled it, I don't remember. I think it had something on the... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, nonetheless, it works great. There's no lock stick on this at all. The action is freaking fantastic. It's got a really snappy detent, super snappy. This is one of those I don't think I can fell it. As long as I don't get my finger on this lock bar anyway, which it's almost impossible to hold it to where you're going to have your finger there. You're not going to fell this knife. I'm going to try to fell it. That's me trying. You see how fast that blade whips out? It's got a stiff detent, but for a flipper you want that. Yeah, you can't fell this knife. Let's try to push button fell it. No, I don't think it's possible to fell it. Okay, let's try it with two hands. I'm gonna barely pull, and we're even gonna make the blade go vertical and see if we can fell it. Nope. That's as close as I've gotten, and I'm just slowly pulling my finger across to break that detent. Did it fail? No, it's locked up. You cannot fell this knife. This detent is dialed so well. Listen to this. It just sucks that blade back in there. Not much of the blade sticking out, it's hard to get a hold of it. Yeah. Really done really well. Everything on this knife is done well. Got a nice swedge on that. Is that a sheep's foot? Warnscliffe? I don't know. One of the two, or a combination of both. Yeah, the overlays are just perfect. All the edges are so soft and smooth. There are no sharp edges anywhere on the knife except on the blade itself. And that blade is I'd call it a scalpel. This thing is so sharp. It's like it's not a toothy finish or a toothy edge. It's a razor blade's edge. Super, super sharp. Beautiful, beautiful satin finish on the blade. Hopefully the new lighting will help show stuff like this better. I think the quality of videos will be better with the light. It's got different settings, so I gotta play with it to figure out. He said play with it. I gotta play with it to figure out what's gonna work best. Titanium backspacer there. No lanyard hole. Isn't that awesome? Even on a smaller knife, no lanyard hole. Now for you guys that like lanyards, you're not gonna like that, but for those of us, which I think is the vast majority, who don't like lanyards or don't want a lanyard on our knife, I like that there's no lanyard hole. I wish more companies would do that, especially on the bigger knives. You know, on a little tiny fifth pocket knife like something like this, I could almost see a lanyard being on there just for a guy with bigger hands to get a better grip, have something to hold. But yeah, I'm not a fan of lanyards, so yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys. I'm a big fan of this knife. I like this knife a whole lot. I'm going to be sad to send it home. Yeah. Out of all the knives that were sent, this is number 2. Number 1 was Quiet Carry Drift. This is the number 2 that I like for sure. This thing's pretty sick. Hope they make more of these down the road. I'd love to get one at some point in time. But as of right now, from what I can tell, they're sold out everywhere. I don't see it saying discontinued everywhere, but they say sold out everywhere. There's none of these available for sale anywhere. So maybe on the secondary you can pick them up, but I'm not paying those prices. So alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. Make sure your notifications are on, and I will see you guys on the next one.